The Leaving Cert, one of the most difficult and most pressurised moments in an Irish person's adolescent years. I, Kieran Patrick Rogers, am going to have a brief interview with one of Dublin's finest students from one of their finest schools, a Mr. Graham Mulvaney, volunteered to be interviewed so we could have an in-depth look at how the pressures of the Leaving Cert can help or hinder a student with their creative and imaginative process, and how it can change them or better them for their future lives. To our local school in Dublin City, where I found by a voluntary basis a very intelligent young man studying his Leaving Cert. His name is Graham Mulvaney, and he came into the studio to talk with me how he finds the creative process can affect him during his Leaving Cert, and whether or not his creative process and his imagination is being helped or hindered because of the Irish education system. Graham, the reason why I've brought you into the studio today is because the nature of the documentary, of course, the main focus is imagination. And I wanted to do a report specifically aimed by somebody your age who is going through the Leaving Cert, because I found, do you feel as though the Leaving Cert helps you promote imagination, or do you think it's very much just like learning a script?
For the majority of the courses, it is learning a script. The only type of course that would kind of give you any branch of imagination would be English, and that's only half a paper that you get to do that. I mean, you're given a 2-year course and you're told reproduce that information that we taught you throughout those 2 years in a 2-hour or 2.5-hour exam. And to me, that it's so dull. It doesn't, inspire, or it's not initiating anything in a kid.
This is the English course?
Just the whole course in general.
The whole course in general, the Leaving Cert. But let's focus mostly on the English course first. Do you feel as though, what type of questions did they get? I've been out of school now for 4 years. So what do they still give you scenarios where they'll give you a title and say you have to write a piece of writing about it, a few paragraphs? Is it something that catches your eye? Or tell us about that.
The English paper is split into paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 is more, your personal view on things and personal essays. So that paper I love because you can really get into something that you feel passionate about, and you can't prepare for anything like that. So it's just you and your opinions, and normally they go around a theme. And within that theme, you can say, oh, I'm going to write about this, or oh, I'm going to write about that. And that's great because I love that, that imagination that you're able, kind of the free reign you're given over that paper. But then you go to paper 2, Kieran, and that's
a different story entirely.
It is. It's dismal, I think.
But it has to be challenging at the same time.
It's challenging in the sense that you're bored.
Right,
you're given these texts that you have to learn off by heart.
Yes.
You have to learn off who says what and where in the story they say it. And you just have to learn off that, and it's just so boring and repetitive. So for half of the course, you're just learning stuff off. The teacher doesn't tell you, what's your opinion on this?
Yes.
The teacher tells you, this is your opinion. And that will give you marks and blah, blah, blah. All the same things that normally teachers would tell you.
Now, you're saying there the word boring, which is never really a word that should be it should never be a word that should be associated with creativity or imagination. Now, you're not a writer at all, no?
No.
You're unpublished. You're 17 years old, and do you have an interest in writing? Would you like to produce something?
I wouldn't mind. I think it's quite amazing how someone can something that's in the brain can be translated
and created.
Onto a piece of paper, and that can be spread to the masses. To me, that's kind of, it amazes me. So to even publish something in political type of something or economics view, I think just anything that's published is amazing, and that does create creativity and imagination. I personally do believe in that. Yeah.
And do you feel as though that because, this is the Leaving Cert we're talking about, you are constantly studying, there's not a lot of free time, you're going home, you're having your dinner, you're studying. I know what it's like, I went through it. So, going to say that with all the studying and everything, because you're going to school, you're coming straight home, it's constantly working.
Yeah.
Do you feel as though that can kill your imagination? Do you feel as though, some people can have vivid dreams. Do you have vivid dreams?
No, it's actually quite funny you brought that up. In 5th year, I had dreams that were just crazy and funny, and whenever I think about them.
They were relevant and personal to you.
I was just trying to say that, you know, it's fun and it's nice to wake up and you're trying to recall what happened. But then when sixth year came in, a month afterwards, I couldn't remember anything of my dreams.
Do you read, Graham?
Sometimes when I have the free time, I'd like to read something, to keep the mind busy. And
What would you read? A novel or what? Play?
I
or
wouldn't be into anything fictional. I kind of find that boring. I like the more factual stuff, political history, anything like that.
Well, that's a good thing, because a lot of that we've had in this documentary has been a lot about imagination, and we've had a lot of fictional sides to the story.
Yeah.
But that's not true with a lot of writers. A lot of writers, the main part isn't making something up. It's documenting something. We wouldn't have, like you're saying, history or politics or anything if there wasn't somebody to document it. Now, how would you say that inspires you, or what's your opinion?
Definitely. I mean, when they hear politics, they think of boring, dead, just old men in suits. But to me, it's fresh and it's just exciting. And you see governments creating new initiatives and new programs and policy, and that needs imagination to become, efficient and to become a policy. Because what I'd like to do, hopefully, after leaving cert is become a policy maker for the government or any government. And within that policy making, you need imagination, because you're going to give social policies that will, change people and how they interact. So you need to imagine how would they be affected by these policies. So imagination is not just for creative writing, it also is for political writing and policy writing.
Well, I see, Graham, that you're quite capable of holding yourself together, and you do have quite a creative spark to you, which is a wonderful thing to see in a young man, because a lot of people nowadays, they do say that the younger generation, perhaps they're not as creative as they should be. But, I mean, I was in the Dublin Writers' Centre when I was interviewing Dan Siri. He's an author, very, very impressed with some of his work. We're going to get into that later in the programme. And it's inspiring to see the amount of people that are unpublished, they come into the Writers' Centre just because they enjoy that atmosphere, and they're reading the stories and they're sharing these stories with people that don't know them. And they just want to share their stories. And I think that is boring, because, I mean, everybody has a good story to tell. Everybody has a background. Everybody has fond memories.
Yeah.
What would be a big story that has occurred in your life? We're just taking, for example, what would be a big story that has occurred in your life that has helped shape or mould Graham Mulvaney?
Oh, definitely travelling from Dublin to Amsterdam, from Amsterdam to Munich, and to Munich to Paris, and back to Dublin with my best friend. We travelled when it was the Christmas of 2014, and just that, that sense of independence, and our parents didn't have anything to do with the booking of the flights or the transportation. I think that to me is just something that really stuck out to me, and it helped me, realise I'm not a kid anymore. I can't be reliant on my parents. I have to do things for myself now. I'm not, 5, I'm actually 17, turning 18. When I turn 18, I'm going to be given a lot of responsibilities. I'm legally able to buy smokes and alcohol and vote and all that. So I think definitely going abroad shaped me in a more independent teenager. And, to just know myself that I'm more independent because of that travelling, it made me just realise that, travelling is something important. And, it does create, like I was saying, imagination. And, just before we went, we imagined what it would be like, and that's great. So I think that's definitely a defined moment in my life that helped shape me today.
Well, there you go. You've given us a key insight into one of the most important ingredients that can create a person's imagination. The world that we live in is a vast and beautiful place, in my opinion, and I'm sure you would agree with me.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So what can help it expand your horizons richly by travelling the horizons? Travel is a great thing for the mind.
Make you think more, make you just imagine a bit more of the world.
Yeah. Students are besieged with constant reminders of the importance of the leaving cert on their life choices and the significance of good results. Pressure seems unavoidable, and it's understandable some students and families are struggling to cope with the stress. An Irish Association of Counselling and Psychotherapy study found about 1 in 3 students suffer from stress during exam time. Yet few seek professional help. Only 1 in 14 of the people under 24 say they would tell anybody about their problems. Our findings show there is a real urgent need for students who are under pressure to talk about their problems, especially during the run-up to exams. Unfortunately, this survey shows a reluctance among young people to talk about or discuss their problems or anxieties, says Shane Kelly of the association. The research shows young people who tend to suffer from anxiety are also the ones who are most affected during exam times. This pressure can bring underlying mental health issues to the surface. And as we have spoken with Graham Mulvaney, who also has admitted to me off mic, he does himself suffer from somewhat anxiety brought on by exam times. Other advice from experts suggests regular exercise, perhaps 30 minutes a day for students, is crucial for both body and mind, releasing endorphins during exam time. Use whatever stress reliever works best for you, whether playing an instrument or game console, listening to music or playing with a pet, for short downtime to help clear your mind. Our interviewee prefers to go for a jog in the Phoenix Park. Sleep is a necessity. Avoid drinking stimulants in the evening and aim for at least 7 hours sleep a night. You'll wake up feeling more energized and less burned out and groggy than if you stayed up late. Eating something high in calcium and magnesium before bed can aid sleep as they act as natural muscle relievers. Now, I was a teenager myself. I still have the mindset of a very young teenager, and I know what it's like. You can get pressurized, and when you're listening to people giving you advice about diet and what to eat and what not to eat and how to keep yourself healthy, and you're thinking, oh, this is a load of such and such, trust me, I have spoken to the professionals. This can help you. The point of this feature is to get inside the mind of a student. We have managed to get inside the mind of the student. Now that we're in there, we're trying to help tweak and try and give you as much help as possible. Remember, as a student, you are making your life for you. You're building it brick by brick, setting down the foundations from whether you want to be living a comfortable, lovely lifestyle or just getting by week from week. It is up to you. You make your future. You build your future. You can do it. I have faith.